the host. Attendee screen sharing.
Yes.
Grace, can you please enable? Yes, please enable the screen sharing, and then I can just walk a couple of folks right from the Rotary International web page through sign in and what it looks like to be able to join.
Just check if I've allowed you screen sharing.
Yes, I think you have. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Ooh, it looks like internet. Well, there's a whole video that's okay. Let me try and stop this video. There's a lot going on the Rotary page. But typically when you go on here, we should be able to sign in and click on My Rotary, log in with your credentials. I tried to do a bit of it earlier, so in case it froze. But once you log in with your email and password on My Rotaries, I'll just toggle between. I'm already signed in. It's your email, your Rotary password. You get to see kind of this page. So it's no longer the video, it's your profile, delegation, account settings, sign in or sign out on here as well. Typically, you can also just type in fellowship. It would give you it'll give you the page that has all the Rotary fellowships on there. And the cool thing about it is it's loading up, but this is like my club. So you guys can see the chart today, it's my club. Everybody else would see probably Rotary Joburg. When you go in, you would also get a chance to see some of the events, virtual events that are going on, Rotary responses, and you can be able to join. But today I'll just keep it very brief to the Rotary Fellowship link that I sent for folks. So once you sign in from the home page, you put in your credentials, this is kind of what you see. For fellowship, you can either search it or you can sign in from the link that I shared on the WhatsApp group as well. And this is what you end up seeing, all these groups. So I think for most people, I think for Arnold, I think you saw the start a group. There's an opportunity for you to also start a group that would later on be approved based on interest. But there's so many groups starting from Rotary Leadership International to Rotarians Against Racism, International Trading Commodities, Rotarian Entrepreneurs. Ooh, I think I'd like to join that at some point. So you click on it, and this is what it looks like for you to join. You can join the discussion, and you can engage with other Rotarians as you will. I think the whole idea of this was to find other communities within the Rotary family, internationally and others. There's a discussion platform and board, so you can see the posts that have been put out there. So I think there's a WhatsApp group, so I'll look at it. You just click on, usually when it's blue, it's a hyperlink, so it means that when you click on it, there's more information. But then I can see what the discussion items have been on that group, and then I can follow what's going on. So for Rotarians who are specifically interested. And the beautiful thing about joining fellowships, yeah, exactly, like they're international. So I think because it's on RI, it then lends itself to us appreciating a much more global community than we otherwise would have if it was just coming from the hubs. So Nigeria, I just clicked on it just to get a flavor. Folks from Greece, Cotonou as well. So it just gives a flavor. There's also like the E-Club from Carolinas who joined in. So then by leaving their WhatsApp, I'm sure that you can engage with the fellowship WhatsApp group as well. So I'm gonna just click back a few times, then we go back.
Do you have to actually join the group and actually pay the annual subscription to be part of this or to get any value out of it? How does that?
That's a great question. So how my membership works is our dues is paid with the club. So I'm active at the club level and international level at a one-time fee. So either break it down half year or full year. So I've unfortunately, because of the last 5 years, I automatically make a payment. I don't know what it's like to not have been paid up at the international level. So after I shared this, I was like, maybe it's an access thing, but I think that for all the other Rotarians I've asked, most of these are free to join. I don't know of any of the ones that have a monetary restriction. Once you have a Rotary International account, I think you should be fine to do this. I think where the pay gates and restriction comes is for international events and registration to the conference events. But the idea of this is for almost all Rotarians to be able to fellowship. So look at this here. Rotary Citation has 1,630 members, so it's open. So I think some of the closed groups, and I haven't seen or joined those, they may be the ones that have restrictions on payment and others.
So
But by and large,
open groups, because when I went on, the only things I could see, maybe I searched it incorrectly, and maybe that's what Arnold did as well, because that link you sent us took me to a page where it showed me a bunch of things. It didn't come up like you showing now, okay? It came up with sort of interest groups. There was a wine group and a caravan group, and a 4x4 and a motorcycle and a this and a that. And all the ones that I was interested in were asking, like the caravanning group was asking, I think, £29 for an annual subscription.
wow.
The wine club was something like $30, I think. Yeah. So all those groups were asking for money. So I want to know, where do we find the free stuff?
Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to do this was maybe to share my experience. So I logged in, this is my profile, this is how I sign in, my delegation and others. I just literally joined the Rotary Palm Wine Fellowship, right, which is also like kind of wine fellowship of sorts, and it's free. And I just clicked on, and once I clicked on it, it allowed me. So I think maybe we can look at, you could share your screen and what you see, Grace.
You know what I'm seeing? What I'm seeing on yours, if I look at your bar at the top, it says myrotary.org /N exchange ideas group. Whereas the other one was Rotary Fellowship, more fellowship. And those are the paid groups. But I think this exchange ideas is probably the one where we need to go on.
Okay. Sure. I think the language, because I think fellowship has been maybe one of the things where it had to do with the Rotary fellowships for different exchanges and other things. But maybe I've just clicked on the exchange ideas as a route just to see what you see here. Again, for me, I think the site has almost too much information. So typically when you come here, you should know what you're looking for. So again, as soon as I came in here, all I did was type fellowship into the search bar. I clicked on fellowship. That way, like, you're not distracted with district grant. Like there's so many, quite a number of things. So I think the best way was one through the link that I shared. But now that I've gotten that, click it, and then it will take you to that fellowship, a series of fellowship pages, and that would take you into the exchange idea space. So what I did was just, you can still click on form a Rotary Fellowship, right? Because there's so many. Sorry, maybe this, let me just go back briefly to Grace's points. Once you click that, you saw so many.
That's the page I was on. That's the one where if you scroll down,
okay,
I'll scroll down to fellowships, and those, most of them, you've got to pay to become part of.
Okay. So I've ignored everything but the top search. I know there's a Master's Fellowship. I think it might be great. So then I click on the first one. It goes into more Rotary Fellowships. This is where I think I had a screenshot, is join a discussion group or create one. I try not to get overly distracted with what's going on here.
Look at the groups.
So as soon as I joined a group, here I am. And so then their fellowship groups are here, each of the ones. So like, I think that the best practice is try not to get too distracted by scrolling too far off into the database of information. And then you'll see, I think there's a whiskey group. Okay, let me not act like I'm, but yes, I think that's basically it. I think, yeah, I do see the way that you could possibly wander off and get a little lost, but with 2 or 3 clicks, the first few ones, you should be able to get into a discussion group. And then later on, you can also explore the other things that other established groups that Grace is talking
National
about.
training commodities.
Questions?
I think the discussion group is probably the route to go, because if you, when you went through that and you went down, and Avril even commented to say, oh, look at all those groups. That's where I went down. Like the first one is the 4x4 group.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
no.
started looking, okay, well, which groups am I interested in?
Yes.
And I then decided
That's
for the
not
caravanning one, and then you can. I thought, well, what's that going to help me? I'm in South Africa.
No, please.
For the pounds, and then I went to the wine one because except for Musharraf maybe, but every other Rotarian, you join Rotary and you drink wine. So the thing is, wine is a big thing in Rotary. No, John doesn't drink wine either. He drinks beer and whiskey. But it was, yeah, I was quite shocked that you actually had to pay to be part of it. And I also know I'm part of some of the other action groups, because Rotary's also got action groups. So you can become part of different action groups, and I know I'm on the action group of for drug abuse and alcohol abuse, to sort of combat that. And I know there's also an annual subscription. So I think we need to be careful what we just merely click on, because there is a lot of free stuff because we already paid our dues to Rotary International, as opposed to taking something over and above what our Rotary International dues were.
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity to share with you guys. I think the discussion groups are phenomenal, especially at this time, to exchange ideas with other people across. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
He had to leave shortly after he joined us because he's got another call. But I think the discussion groups, I think, is a great way to connect with Rotarians from all over the world. On many levels. It's building up relationships with you personally. It's building up relationships with you in the club. It's a source of perhaps funding if we've got a project that they may want to help us fund or get involved with. So there's a lot of benefits, and I think you can also get a lot of value. So if you join
You're going to disconnect
a
us.
whiskey group or a wine group or a 4x4 group or a motorcycle group or whatever it is, you can get a lot of value personally from your leisure and your social time. So I hope that helped you, and I hope you all have a Rotary account. If you don't have a Rotary account, do you have a Rotary account, Ms. Rupp?
Is it an overdraft?
I don't know. The Rotary sign-on for the Rotary International. So if you don't have one, let me know, so I'll send you the information on how to create one, and how you get hooked up, and how you can explore the site and what's available. Yeah, but you need to have a Rotary account on the Rotary International site. Yeah. What I wanted to just chat to you about quickly, we finalized the shopping for Malika. My whole car is full of food and all sorts of things. So John is going to be loading the computers in there tomorrow and connect with Jean to see if Jean is prepared to meet us at Malika to deliver that food. And then he will also take Jenny's computer through to Turfontein.
Yeah, I just want to find out from
Avril.
well, Emmanuel about the other computers that she says will be coming through, but I understand that'll be from previous store. And about the other food parcels, and what are we doing with regards, or how we're going to do it? How are we going to arrange it?
Okay, you missed that part. So Mr. Rapp and I have got that under control.
Oh, okay. Right. Sorry, I wasn't here.
Yeah. So I think we've done amazingly well in trying to aid our community in the last couple of weeks. I mean, up to today, we've spent 22,000 rand on food for our beneficiaries. So that's Malika and our APAC students.
You want to tell her about password?
If I look at the
Do you want to
value
tell her
of
about password?
computer equipment alone that we put together, it's how much?
It's old stuff, but
It's old stuff, but
it's the ability for them to
yeah,
carry on learning.
yeah. So if we had to go buy stuff, I mean, it would be thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
So
A couple of thousand rand.
my challenge, because my name is out there on our Facebook page and my telephone number is just freely available, I'm getting requests on a daily basis to help people with food, and it's just so devastating. Where families are just contacting me saying, we've got children who don't have work, we don't have food, we can't pay our rent, you know, and we cannot help everybody. So today as well, I got a WhatsApp from a young man. Please, we need some food. So Musaraki is definitely one of the guys that I'm going to try and get to your establishment to get a food parcel, because we absolutely cannot help every single person. Heart-wrenching.
Grace, how many computers do you think we could handle?
One for every student, and once we've got one for every student,
So that's 31 computers.
We will find other people who need. If we have them, we'll find people who need them.
You know, Avril just, as she said, passed a casual comment with our guy that came in to do something on her machine. And he said, oh, I've got 5 at home. Now, if we put out to our...
actively market that we're looking for old computers and parts.
Well, he
Well,
says he'll just...
I was speaking to one of my investor consultants.
Yeah, he said he will just pass on.
Yeah.
I think it's just a question of sharing the need. You know, if we send it out to our email contacts, my clients, for instance, and say, anybody got old computers, John would strip the information and fix. Is that all right, John?
Yeah.
Okay.
John is also trying to get his IT business up and running. So John is very, very skilled in information technology, doing networks and doing automation and virtual stuff. So he's trying to launch a business, and this is quite a good way for him to sort of get his name out there to say, you know, this is what you're doing for the community, by not charging and that kind of thing. So I think that helps him as well. But yes, that's his passion, and that's where he wants to use his skills, is to put computers in every one of our scholars' homes so that they can continue learning.
The more computers we get, the more people we can find who need.
Well, I think with our guy, Mark, he's quite delighted because he says he just dumps them. He just throws them away.
Now, you see, one of the things that we are likely to find is we'll end up with boxes, with keyboards, with mice, but not with screens. That's the one thing that we might find. If a corporate decides to give us all of their old laptops, we don't have that problem.
And are screens expensive?
You know, a couple of $100, just under 1,000 rand a piece for an entry-level one.
We must just fund it.
See what he...
Grace loves spending money.
Get some donated rather than having to buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's see what we got. I mean, I've got bits and pieces which I can put stuff together with.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said.
Everything to be you know, I don't have enough screens.
Yeah.
I don't have enough cases. I have spare motherboards. I have spare memory. I have spare processors. I have spare hard drives.
Okay.
Okay.
And John, I did say to Mark that we would take all pieces. We would take whatever he dumps. So, you know, I don't know whether it's going to be rubbish or not.
Well,
But
John,
you would know.
And you're dumb.
For the purposes of what we're trying to do, we need to be able to have an operating system that can at least load Mozilla Firefox. which is an alternate to Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
Because it's not as picky about a lot of stuff in the background.
Yeah.
You need to load Mozilla Firefox so that they can access the Vodacom schools page.
Yeah.
No.
That's all. That's pretty much all. With that comes there's a little email program that comes with it. Okay. If the machine is Windows XP or newer, in fact, even the older ones all come with WordPad, which is basically a really old version of Microsoft Word. So they can do a project or something like that in Microsoft Word, just it's an old version. So they've pretty much got what they need.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get the junk.
Very specific because they're doing something very specific in school and they're doing some kind of computer studies or IT studies or something like that. Different story. Then we'll have to look at it on a different basis. But I think we can do that on a as needed basis.
Yeah. You see, I know with him, for instance, I got a new laptop and he just took my box and everything away, loaded it on, and that was it. We never saw the box or anything again. That's the sort of thing I think that he'll give us. You know, somebody changes and then says, just take it away.
Yeah, the power supply had gone, so he couldn't find one, so.
Oh, yeah, I've got a couple of power supplies.
Too late. Okay.
If you have a Hewlett-Packard machine and the power supply goes, I might have a problem.
Yeah.
If it's not a Hewlett-Packard, I'm pretty much okay. You know, specific name brands use name brand parts. What they refer to as a clone machine uses clone machine parts, and that's fine. I've got I was given a whole lot of stuff by somebody else, and included in that are some very good power supplies. They make a little bit of noise. The fan makes a bit of noise. So they were taken out, but they work fine.
Yeah, good.
And what happens in winter is with power supplies, when it's dry, the fans make noise.
Yeah.
In summer they don't.
Yeah, I think if we could all as Rotarians, and I'm recording the meeting from Emmanuel, or when Emmanuel came on, for the benefit of our members that couldn't join us this evening, but if we as members could all reach out to our network to say, we are looking for, do you have any computers lying around that you want to get rid of, laptops, computers, computer screens, mouse, keyboard, doesn't matter. Please let us have it, let us take it off your hands because we can put it to good use. You know, I think, yes, the food and all of that kind of thing is a huge crisis in our country. We can't feed everybody, it's impossible, but we can definitely try and help our kids that are at school to try and still pass the year, or be in a position where they can actually keep busy and keep active and keep on top of their schoolwork. So,
Well, that's what sold Mark on that. Once I said the students, and because of this, the log out, they need computers. Then he said, well, that's fine. Whatever he's got, he'll let us have.
I'll also speak to Mike.
generation we're talking about, those are the guys that are going to lead this country. We need to equip them and get them educated.
I'll speak to Michael Chen, and he can speak to Tandalwazi. You know,
Oh, Shane, eh?
it
So, well, I'm
probably.
trying to get Tandalwazi as our speaker for next week. I'm
Oh,
trying to get
okay.
Darky to come and join us to tell us what's happening with Saturday school and what's happening at Tandalwazi with lockdown, how they're dealing with everything. So I'm trying to get him to actually address us. So I think that would be quite good because it is something that we're partnering with, and we've got some of our students that actually go to that program.
I also want a little time on Bosman when I have an opportunity.
Yeah. Have you reached out to Bosman?
Went there today.
I went there today. They're not open, but the grounds are in pretty bad shape. So, you know, and they are absolutely in the red. No salaries paid and in a lot of problems. So I think we should try and perhaps clean up the yard.
Do they have families that are battling with food, Ivan?
Probably.
I don't know.
Shall I reach out to Marcel?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll reach out to Marcel because their families could also be beneficiaries that we send to Musaraf for those food parcels.
What about Alex? The
Mancha Masamole.
Yeah,
Carol was
parcel.
going to see,
Find out.
but I can speak to who's Pastor Allen. I can possibly reach out to Pastor Allen as well and just give him details of beneficiaries. My challenge, Musaraf, is if I put the word out there that we're looking for beneficiaries to give food to, then I'm going to have way more than 50. That's my challenge. So I need to try to keep the beneficiaries to a limit of 50, which is what your organization has said that you can help us with. But yeah, it's challenging. What do we do if we get more than 50 people that pitch up to your place? I don't know if Mr. Roth is hearing me.
Grace is how many people is there? Let me know how many people is there.
If I have more than 50 people, what happens?
So what is the meaning of how many? Yeah, is more than 50. What is the meaning of how many is there?
See, I don't know. If I say to one person, I want people to come to this particular address because I have food, and I say to another person and they get 20 people and that one gets 20 people and we have 100 people pitching up for food. So that's my challenge. How do I control the numbers?
So what you do, Grace and Ivan, what you do, you can, let's have a meeting is tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We're gonna organize 50. Then if you say is a situation is not good, more people is hunger, then I'm gonna talk with our senior. Another senior, 2 people is in our community. I'm gonna talk with those people, say is 50 is not enough. Then we're gonna make is another, if it's possible. Then we're gonna make another the program.
I think what I will do is I need them to. I think we need to have some sort of registration mechanism where people contact me to say yes, they are coming, and I actually give the address out. If I just put the address out there on a blanket sort of approach, we could have hundreds of people rocking up.
You'll have a tsunami.
They need to apply via me, and I then give the address that I can keep the control of the numbers, because you can't risk. See, that's the challenge, Mr. If I can bring you 10,000 people, we only want 50.
I think what you've got to, I think what you've got to do is you've got to have a numbering process so that they realize that they're supposed to have a number. So you don't have a whole bunch of people coming along saying, "Oh, we're looking for food." But if I'm here and this is my reference number.
Yeah, almost
then
like
a reference number
can
be dealt with.
Give them a code like on their cell phone. They've got to present this code to get a parcel. Because otherwise...
Just your name would do, Grace.
Okay.
You could just use your name.
No, you've got to identify each person.
Oh, I see.
You've got to identify, because otherwise we're going to have more people than what we can help. And
there's no doubt.
It's devastating when that happens, because I want to help the whole world, but I know I can't.
I think part of how you do it is you say you can get a food parcel, but you need to arrive with this cell phone number. Okay, and you send them a message to that cell phone number. If they don't have the cell phone number,
for that message,
they can't collect food, because that way you can control it, and people can't just pitch and take food which has been allocated to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's happening all the time, John.
Yeah, I think
All
yeah,
over.
it's fairly simple, but you can you can at least get to the people who you started off trying to help. And if you find a big demand, maybe you can have a second run, you know, and see how it goes.
Yeah. I think that,
Right.
thank you very much, Masura, for actually extending this invitation to the Rotary Club of Johannesburg. We really appreciate it because there are so many people out there. And like I say, on a daily basis, I'm getting SMS and WhatsApp from people saying, I need food. Can the Rotary Club of Johannesburg give me food? And I can't help. We can't help everybody.
Grace, you'll tell us what we need to do.
Okay.
You'll tell
So
us what.
Mr. will give us some details on dates and times, and then I will speak to Winnie to give me some people. I will also contact Marcel. I think Winnie and Marcel, those two groups are probably the two big needs that I can think of. And we'll take it from there. If we've got more than 50, then we'll go back. Yeah, Malacca, we've just bought food for them, so yeah, we just bought them a whole bunch of food, so they should be fine for now. It's what happened. We need to reassess this sort of mid-June again to see what the needs are of our EdTech students in Malacca. You know, because food only lasts that long. And I think all the food that we've bought from Malacca, I think is probably going to be 2 weeks worth of food, and then it's done. And I don't even think it's going to last for 2 weeks. We've got 75 children there, so it's crazy.
It's only a couple of days and it's gone.
Yeah, I didn't even buy baby formula for them. So we got nappies, but there's no baby food. They're going to have to give them mini meal or something. I don't know.
I hate to thump this drum, but are you supportive of cleaning up Bosman?
Yes, I am. When are they planning?
They want to open next month.
Next month. Okay, so July. They want to open July.
Beginning of July.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so I'm sure we can get a work party out there and try and clean up. Is it mowing the lawn and that kind of thing? Okay.
I'll just send my guy and pay him.
Yeah, well, we'll send our guy as well. You know, we can take our guy, take some lawnmowers, take some weed eaters, and we can do something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we're happy, but I've got Marcel's number, so I'll phone her and just ask her if there are any families that are desperate for food, and then we can include them in the beneficiaries to Musaraf's thing.
Thank you. I'll leave that to you.
Okay. Just on the last note, I think from next week we're going to resume our Zoom meetings at 7 o'clock again. I think in the beginning of lockdown, everybody was sort of like
at home,
and you had a lot of time and all that kind of thing. And now most people are back at work and they've got hectic lives again. So I think on a Tuesday at 7 is what we're going to do our meetings at. Well, the majority came in saying that they wanted the 7 o'clock meeting. So we're going to go back to that. And I'm going to start advertising our meetings on LinkedIn to get some international Rotarians to come and join us as well. We've got a very, very big Rotary following on LinkedIn from all over the world. So we're going to start putting our meetings on there so we'll have international Rotarians joining us as well. We also need to think of bringing new people into Rotary. So because we're meeting virtually doesn't mean that we can't bring our friends in. And then from next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run our normal face-to-face meetings where we have a sergeant, somebody else runs the meeting. I only have a few minutes to talk because I'm really getting tired of my own voice. And get other people involved and get other people stepping up to the plate. So from next week, that's what's going to happen.
Good.
Great.
Anything, Arnold?
Arnold's muted.
Arnold's muted. No, he's unmuted. How are you,
There you
Arnold?
are.
No, I haven't got anything to add.
Cool. Okay, Musarraf, anything from you?
No, thank you. I'll let you know tomorrow update. Then we can go ahead.
Okay, and I'm very, very thrilled to actually finally see a face that I know who Musarraf is. I know we haven't met in person.
Thank you.
And I spoke to Musarraf today as well about his membership, Ivan. He still wants to maintain his Rotary membership, so I'm just very glad he's got involved and we've got him excited about something, and we hope to see you more on our Zoom meetings.
Thank you.
Okay, anything from you, Ivan, April?
No, that's us.
Thank you. Thanks
Awesome.
very
Thank you.
much.
All right, thank you so much, and sorry it was such a we weren't a lot of people on this call, but it's not our normal meeting.
Just one thing, Jean did send a message on WhatsApp to say he thought he was going to be able to attend the meeting this evening, but it looks like work got in the way. So he sent a message to excuse himself. So Jean was with us in spirit, if not in person.
Well, hopefully next week we'll have a lot more, and I will let you know if I get Valapi on. I think Valapi will be a great speaker. He's quite a dynamic man, and it's an amazing project they run. And I will communicate with everybody on WhatsApp what's happening with the free parcels with Musarraf. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Great.
you, Grace. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Now be